Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Elena Perry, and I'm one of the Assistant Directors of Admission here at Champlain. We are so excited to be having our 5th Google Hangout tonight. We're going to be talking about the next steps after being admitted into Champlain. We have some wonderful student panelists and a wonderful host tonight, Juliana Pratt. So I'm going to be turning you over to her in a couple of minutes, but I just wanted to remind you, if you do have any specific questions for us to cover in the Google Hangout tonight, you can tweet at us at Champlain SA, and you can use the hashtag ChampHangouts, and we will try to answer any questions that you might have. But thanks again for tuning in. I'm going to turn you over to Juliana, who's going to be your host tonight, and enjoy the Hangout.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our 5th Hangout. Today we're going to talk a little bit about what it's like to be admitted. And so, first of all, congratulations on being admitted and welcome to Champlain. And this is such an exciting time in your life that you're making all these big decisions about where to go and what to do. So we're going to talk about a little bit about what it means to be admitted and what some of the next steps are. So before we begin, I'll pass you on to everyone and we'll just say a little bit about ourselves. I'm your host today, I'm Juliana Pratt, and I am a senior education major here at Champlain. And I'll pass it on to Anthony.
Hey everyone, I hope yeah, it's working definitely. Okay, my name's Anthony, I'm a sophomore psychology major. I'm a student ambassador here, also an RA. And I'm from the Cayman Islands, so that's me.
Thank you, Anthony. We'll move on to Bernie. Go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi, everybody. My name is Bernie. I'm a broadcast and streaming media major. I'm a senior. And quick note, the name of my major is changing, but for now I'm a broadcast and streaming major.
Thank you, Bernie. And last but not least, our final panelist is Mary. Pass it over to her.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be on another Hangout. I'm a senior digital forensics major. I've also been in orientation a few times with Bernie, which has been a lot of fun. And I'm an intern for the admissions office, and I'm excited to get this show on the road.
Thanks so much, Mary. So our first topic we're going to talk about tonight is deciding if Champlain is the right choice for you. And Anthony is one of our awesome student ambassadors here, and he's going to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about how you can decide and make that decision if Champlain's the right place for you.
Cool. Thanks, Juliana. So the first thing, or one of the first things I always tell students that I give tours is that really make sure that you know the place that you're going to go before you make your decision. And a big component of that is visiting the college, making sure that, hey, you know about all of these different things that you're interested in. So if you're really into sports, you might want to figure out if the place you're going offers the kind of sports that you want to play and the environment you want to play them in. You know, if you like to ski, you probably don't want to go to college in Florida or something like that. But so that's one of the really big things, is just knowing where what you want to do and if the college that you're most interested in has the right option for you. And a great way to do that is to come out to events. So obviously, if any of you have toured Champlain before, been here, visited our campus, you know that we offer information sessions and tours specialized for students who've been admitted. So that's a great opportunity to kind of get to see what's going on. But also we have our admitted student stays. We had one 2 weeks ago, and we have another one coming up on Friday and Saturday. So again, if any of you are planning on coming out to that, that's great. We hope to see you there. And that's another great way to figure out, is Champlain a place that I want to spend the next 4 years of my college career, or of my scholarly career, I guess you could say. So first note is just really knowing where you want to go and if the place is right for you. So I talked a little bit about information sessions. Again, just really important in knowing the information about the school that you're looking into. Know all the details, stuff like that. Who you can talk to once you get to campus about about what it's like. Sure, you can come in admissions and talk about, they can tell you everything you need to know about the school, but having an inside perspective is always really great when it comes to figuring out where you're going to go to school. So when you visit, if you're to visit Champlain, you can talk to, obviously on your tours, your student ambassador, who is a current student, who will be able to give you a look into the life of a student. We can set you up with someone in your major or in your division. So if you have any questions about that specifically, you can get that. We can pair you up with, obviously have one-on-one discussions with interns like Juliana or Mary, with our counselors like Elena, or faculty or other professors that we have here at Champlain, if you have any more in-depth questions about any of the things that Champlain has to offer. So the second thing I would definitely recommend is just use your resources, know who you can talk to, and get to know the people who matter and who would really help you make that decision. On another note, just getting connected with the community is also a great way to kind of feel out if you think that Champlain would be a really good place for you. So we do have a Facebook group for the class of 2020 that a lot of you probably heard about the Hangout through. So we definitely recommend, if Champlain is high up on your list or you've already decided to come here, that you get involved with the page. Is a great way to meet a lot of new people. If you want to know your roommate before you move in, you could request one through the page, or if you want to get a feel of what are the people in your graduating class going to be like, that's a great way to figure out that kind of information as well. So the Facebook group is a great way to get involved. Tweet at us, check out the admissions blog. Great ways to get kind of those inside looks at what Champlain has to offer. And I think those three points that I brought up are really just the overarching, really important ones. So visit, talk to people, use your resources, and interact with the community before you get here are the really important points that I like to say as far as, picking where you're going to go.
Thank you so much, Anthony. That was great. Anthony is one of our great essayists, and he has a lot of information, and you can go ahead and look for him on campus on our accepted students days because he'll be there. Now I'm going to switch gears to a little bit about how do you enroll at Champlain College? So a lot of our students have been asking questions about, how do I enroll? What does that look like? So it's actually, Champlain makes it super easy. You just go ahead to our website, champlain.edu/admitted students, and then you just scroll down to where it talks about enroll by submitting your deposit. And then you just pay your 2 deposits for housing and tuition. And if you live off campus or are choosing to commute, you don't have to pay the campus living one. And then you're enrolled. You've chosen Champlain as your choice, and you're ready to move on to the next steps. And so if you have any questions along that line, you can always email us at admissions@champlain.edu, and we're always there to answer any questions you have about enrolling. Some of the deadlines for enrollment are May 1st, and your deposits are due at that point, which is about 3 weeks following your admission. So make sure you get those deposits in because we're really excited to see your face at Champlain in the fall. And now that we're talking a little bit about deposits, I'm going to pass it over to Mary, and she's going to give us a little fun tutorial because she's super technologically advanced and knows how to screen share. So she's going to share some of that information with you now. Thanks, Mary.
No problem at all. Yeah, I just want to real quick show you how to navigate the website and get to that form that Juliana was mentioning, so you have a visual reference for that. So if you have applied and been accepted, then you've probably seen the champlain.edu website before. You want to go up over here to the blue tab that says Information For, go down to Admitted Students, because that is what you are, congratulations. And you want to go down to Accept Your Admission as an Undergraduate Student. You go ahead and click on that link. You'll see this big blue button right here, and that will take you to this form. And basically, all you want to do, there's a couple simple things you fill out. These fields here You want to put in the name about the student. So if you are not making the payment yourself, like the payment is going to be in the name of, a parent or another family member, you still want to put the student's information here. You check off if you are, you have to deposit for tuition, and if you're going to be in residence hall, you also need to check off the residence hall little check mark box here. And then you continue to payment, and it's not going to let me do that because I didn't put in the information because I'm not going to put in my deposit again. But it's a very simple process from there on out. And if you ever have any questions, if any part of that is confusing or you're seeing any glitches in the program, definitely feel free to reach out to admissions@champlain.edu or your admissions counselor if you have a relationship with them, and we'd be totally happy to help.
Thanks, Mary. That was really awesome. It's nice to have those visuals sometimes because it really helps you to see how that process goes, and sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, especially if you're not so great on the computer like I am. So the next thing we're going to talk a little bit about is housing selection, and I know that's a really exciting topic because who doesn't want to live in one of our awesome restored Victorian mansions? I was actually a resident assistant for 2 years, so I've gotten to live in 3 different residence halls on campus, and they're all amazing, all unique, and all have their own little flair to them. So what to consider when you're looking at your housing choices is that we have 19 Victorian-style mansions that all have a little bit of their own little personality, a little bit of jazz to them. And some of these can range from having 12 people that live in them to about 50. And that's one thing to consider when you are picking your top 3 choices for where you want to live. So things to consider along those lines is, do you want that small or that large dynamic when you are looking for a residence hall? Like, I knew when I came in my first year, I was like, I want to meet a ton of people. So I applied to Pearl Hall and South House, and because I knew those had larger populations, and you can find out all of that on our website under residential living. And so I ended up living in South House, which I was like, oh boy, all the way on the other end of campus, but it was really only a 7-minute walk, and I made so many friends, and I still have those friends today, my senior year, so they really build the community in each of our residence halls. Another thing to consider is the amount of people also contributes to the atmosphere a little bit. Like, a smaller residence hall usually has that quiet atmosphere, and if that's something you're looking for, if you're a super studier and you just need to have your quiet space, probably a smaller residence hall would be the choice for you. Another thing is convenience and closeness to campus. If you're one of those lazy people that just likes to roll out of bed, run to class 2 minutes before campus, you just definitely want to be looking at those residence halls that are closer to campus and making sure they're all pretty close. Like, I think our farthest one is North House, and it's 0.7 miles away, so really the majority of them are pretty close. So the other question we got a lot was, when do I fill out these residence hall applications? And right now, you can do them right now. Go ahead and log right into champlain.edu/housing request, and you can fill out your housing request. And Champlain does a great job making sure they get as many people in their first priorities as possible. But you do have till July 1st to do that, so don't worry about it if you haven't gotten to it yet. And the biggest question, when do I find out about where I'm placed? Usually everyone hears about early August, and then from there you can connect with your roommate, you'll get to meet them right at orientation, and it's a great time. Another question we get often is, how does my roommate get picked? What if I don't know anyone coming to Champlain? How do I make those connections? As Anthony was talking about a little bit earlier, we do have that Facebook page for class of 2020, and you can meet some people on there, talk to them if you want to pre-pick your roommate, and you just fill that out on the housing preference. You let them know, hey, I'd really like to room with Mary because she's super awesome and we met on the Facebook app. Or they just have a short list of questions about your study habits, your preferences, about your lifestyle, and they try to match you to someone similar to you in those aspects. And they do a really great job doing it, because me and my first year roommate had no idea who each other was coming into campus, but we're still pretty close friends today. And if you ever have any concerns about living situations or what that might look like, reslife@champlain.edu, you can send them an email. Danelle and Lisa are awesome. They'll answer any questions you might have. So I'm actually going to throw this back to the panelists and tell us a little bit about your first year housing experience. So go ahead and start us off, Anthony.
Cool. Can you just repeat? What am I doing?
Yeah. So sorry about that. Tell us a little bit about your first year housing experience.
Okay. So one thing I just want to say really quick is, if you are already dead set on where you want to live, you can go ahead and fill that out right now, or whenever is most convenient for you. But if you are if you're not really sure where you want to live yet, and you know, if you kind of want to get a good idea, we do have write-ups of all the residence halls online on our website at champlain.edu. So that's a really, really great way to kind of get an idea of how they look. Also, on our Flickr account, we have images of all the residence halls, and we will soon have blog posts up. I'm actually in charge of writing them, so I kind of need to get on that. But we're going to have blog posts up soon that detail all of the first-year residence halls, and we'll probably have some pictures of what the inside look like. So if you already know where you want to live, that's great. So you can go ahead and put that in. But if you're still a little bit on the fence, you can wait around a little bit. If you come to visit, we can show you a bunch of different options. If you're coming tomorrow and still aren't sure, definitely wait, because we'll have residence hall tours available. Not tomorrow, on Saturday, sorry. But definitely, if you're still on the fence and are planning on visiting before the housing information is due, I think you should definitely look into it a little bit more and be a little more sure. As far as my first year housing experience, I had a great time. My top three choices were Rowell, Bancus, and McDonald. And I picked those because, one, they're close to campus, close to main campus. Two, they're some of our larger residence halls. McDonald is actually, I think, our second largest, or one of our largest on campus, holds about 52 first-year students, and that's where I ended up living my first year. I lived in a quad with 3 roommates. I had no problems with any of them. You know, one was from Vermont, one was from New Jersey, and one was from New York. And it was a really good time. Lived in a quad in the basement, room 007, which is a great room number. But I just really had a good time as far as my living experience. My first year, I got along with my roommates really well. And one great thing about the rooms and the residence halls your first year is that you get, as Juliana said, really close with the people that you're living with. So I still see people around who live today who lived in McDonald last year. And you know, you walk up to them, you strike up a conversation, it's like you never left McDonald. So it's really cool, and I really appreciate that element of the first year housing, just how integrated it gets with campus early on.
Thank you, Anthony. That's one of my favorite things about being on campus, is just how close all of the residence halls get and how you see those connections throughout your 4 years here. I'm going to pass it over to Bernie to talk a little bit about his first year experience. So, Bernie.
Yeah, so it's been a while, but you know, I was interested in all of the houses. I ended up in Pearl, actually. It's the closest one right over there. And I remember for us, we had 6 choices, I think. We got to kind of pick, you know, in order from first to sixth. So there's definitely opportunity if I didn't get that one. But I did end up going into Pearl. And obviously there's an advantage, you know, for some of these that are extremely close. They're all close, but this one, you don't have to cross the street. I was one of those kids that definitely rolled out of bed right away in the morning, went to class, you know, 2 minutes before. So that's just who I am. So that's kind of what it was. And, you know, it's a little with that one, it's a little bit like small in the hallways. So I definitely think that there are other houses that might have been better if you like, I don't know, you want less people or, something that's a little more roomy. But, you can't go wrong either way. And I, there was an app and I was involved in that, and there were some people I kind of hit it off with, one person in particular, and we tried to room together, but they ended up not going. So I don't know, their mistake, obviously. But, I had a great time where I was, and, the selection went very well for me.
Thank you, Bernie. Mary, do you mind sharing a little bit about your first year experience?
I would love to. I actually was in the same residence hall as Bernie, so that was kind of fun. Coming into it, I knew that Champlain College was a little bit on the smaller side, and I wanted to get a chance to branch out and meet a lot of people, so the residence hall I ended up putting down as my first pick, and then the residence hall I ended up actually being in were both Pearl Hall, which is located literally right outside the Student Life building, which was great. And also, in terms of students, is one of the buildings that holds the most students. And I believe when I lived there, it had 49 or 50 students. And yeah, it was a good experience. I got to be right in the middle of everything. I could roll out of bed at any time and get food, which is great. But I had a roommate I had never met or spoken to before at Champlain. Vermont, really. The whole state was kind of a mystery to me coming into it. So I did kind of fill out a small personality survey about kind of noise levels and when you want to be sleeping and stuff of that nature. And in that regard, it worked out really well. I got to have a roommate whose schedule kind of synced up with mine, so that was definitely good. And there were totally also opportunities to go out and meet other residence halls. I know I spent a lot of time in Shillhammer just because that's where a lot of my friends landed. So it was cool. I got to feel like I was part of these two smaller communities inside of a bigger community, which I just totally loved. But also you learn to meet people in weird spaces. I met Bernie in the laundry room. So not doing laundry, by the way. I was sitting in there on my laptop because my room was crowded. But so yeah, anywhere you can, you can make friends anywhere. That's my point. I'm losing my poor webcam. Rest in pieces. Okay.
Thank you, Mary. And now I'm moving on to my favorite thing about Champlain College, which is orientation. And we're actually sitting with all orientation leaders because it's such a fun thing to do. And so I'll have Mary start off a little bit about our awesome programs we have for our summer launch and about how cool they are and what opportunities they afford you. She can fix her webcam there. Are you all set, Mary?
I think we're good. I just employed some duct tape and
College Essential, always having the duct tape on hand.
Wait, no, I have to show you. I've got galaxy pattern duct tape. Anyway, yeah, okay, so I'm super passionate about summer launch. I did one coming in and the summer before my first year, so it was honestly, and I'm saying this having had 4 years of experience at Champlain College, easily one of the best things I've ever done, at the school. So just to kind of quick cover what a summer launch is, if we have anybody who's unfamiliar, they are kind of bonding programs that are totally optional. You do the summer before you come into Champlain College. Some of them are designated for people who have particular interests, like first-generation students or transitioning into college, like things that help you learn the skills you'll need to transition from high school to college. And then other ones kind of just have really fun themes. I went on one, unfortunately, that we haven't run in a few years, called the Roller Coaster Summer Launch. And basically, we went camping, and we went to Six Flags New England with just me and maybe like 25 other students. We hung out for like 3 days, and it was honestly just the best. I loved it so much. I made some of my best friends. Coming into college, I was very scared. I was very shy, very nervous. I had never been away from my family for more than a week, and then I was moving a couple hundred miles away. And so summer launch was really important to me because it got me familiar with the kind of culture that you would find at Champlain College, and coming into college on my first day, I was a little less scared because I had made some friends, and some of them are still my best friends to this day. They're like, I'm in the car on the way up, like texting people, like, "Are you there? What hall are you in? When can we meet up?" And it just felt a lot more comfortable coming into college because it was a brand new arena to me. So I would totally encourage you to check it out and see if there are any programs you're interested in. Incidentally, you can also find out more information about the summer launch programs by going to the section of the website we visited before under the admitted students kind of webpage, and then on the left, one of the things you can pick is summer launch programs. You can pop on in there, take a look at the different programs that are going to be run. I don't believe, after May 1st is when registration for those programs begins, so you might want to hold off on that for a little bit, but definitely look into it. It's an amazing opportunity, and you definitely won't regret it.
Thanks for that, Mary. That was awesome. Summer launch is such a great experience, and this year they're offering 4 different experiences from our outdoor adventure program where you get to go hike in the woods for like 3 days and get to really bond with some people. So if hiking's your thing, I highly suggest that one. We also have a First Generation Connect one, which Mary hit out a little bit, where if you're a first generation student, you're the first one in your family to go to college, it kind of talks you through some of the college aspects and things you might not be expecting and what to expect when you come to Champlain and really explore Champlain and all that Burlington has to offer. They also offer a leadership experience one where you get to do ropes course and really meet other like-minded individuals that are really interested in those leadership positions on campus, and they actually have someone that walks you through all of those options on campus, which is a cool opportunity. I wish they had that when I was coming in. And the last one they offer is the ultimate transition experience. So if you're a little nervous, like Mary talked about how she was just not sure what college was going to be like and what that meant. And so they kind of talk you through what college is going to be like, get you really comfortable with knowing where your classes are, what to expect when you move into your residence hall, and meet other students that are just like you and are a little nervous, but you guys can be like nervous together and bond and chat and come in with some friends so that you're not so scared their first day there. And that's just some of the awesome options they have for you just to explore Burlington and see what it's like to be here. And then passing it off to Bernie about fall orientation, one of my favorite times of year. It's such an exciting time, and it's probably the most fun you'll ever have. So I'll pass that on to Bernie to tell you a little bit more about that.
Spoiler alert, yes, it is the most fun you'll ever have. So I've been an orientation leader 3 times, which is more than a lot of people. So I really know the program inside and out, basically, and we run an incredible orientation program here. So basically, you get in and it does everything you want it to do about easing your transition into college, because it's a big jump and it's hundreds of people that you don't know. So that can be kind of scary, kind of intimidating for some people. And we really break the ice, so to speak, with actual icebreakers. You get to meet the people in your residence hall, and they're corny games, but they're fun, and they lead to lots of stories, lots of talking points for your dorm mates, residents in your residence hall that you're going to live with. And you get to do that along with going on a boat cruise. You get to dance and play bingo and casino, depending on that boat, and have fun in Fireside Lounge, and you get to go to the first grind, open mic singing. So there's so many things that we do at orientation that, really help not only ease the transition, but, you get to meet the people you're going to live with right away and make some fun stories right off the bat. Everyone has common ground. So that's why orientation is very fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Bernie. And I'm actually going to have us go down and talk a little bit about all of our orientations. I know for a couple of us that was 3 or 4 years ago, so we got to really rack our brains for some of those stories. But Anthony, since yours was most recent, we'll start off with you.
Starting off with the baby, okay. Well, my orientation experience was a little bit different than most because I was involved in care, which was sort of like a pre-orientation. So I kind of already was used to campus before I came here, or before orientation started, before everybody else moved in. So it was kind of funny, like me being, a first-year student. There's probably me and like a few other people in the pre-orientation program, and then we see like all of the other first-year students, like 500 first-year students, move in and asking where like the library is and where Joyce is and all these different buildings, and we're just like, ha, you guys are so like, you guys don't know what's going on, when we really just got there a week ago. But it's a really good experience. The boat cruise is probably, it's going to be definitely the highlight, or one of the big highlights of your time at Champlain. A lot of people really enjoy their time at the boat cruise. So the boat cruise is definitely a whole lot of fun. Maybe bring a jacket because it can get a little bit nippy out there on Lake Champlain. Getting to know everybody in your res hall is also a really important thing. That happens during orientation. You get really close with all the people. And depending on your major, I know all the psychology majors during orientation, we all went to a ropes course. So not only did I meet all the people who I was living in McDonald with, I was also hanging out with people who are also psychology majors right off the bat. So when classes started, I wasn't nervous about like who I knew and who I didn't know, who do I sit by and stuff like that. I already like had made friends. So orientation is just really great in that regard, just getting you kind of out there and being able to meet a whole lot of people really quickly.
Thanks for that, Anthony. I have 2 questions for you. Can you talk a little bit about the CARE program and tell us a little bit more about what psychology majors do on that ropes course and how it's relevant to them?
Okay, so the CARE program, I'm going to start off, the CARE program is basically, it's run by the ODI, which is the Office of Diversity and Inclusion at Champlain. Which basically the CARE program is for students from who may, students from underrepresented backgrounds at Champlain, students of color, students, first generation college students. It's a program for really them to get adjusted to Champlain. So it's kind of for those students who might need just a little bit more, not necessarily rearing, but just might need a little bit extra help to get kind of settled in. And the great thing about the CARE program is it doesn't stop at orientation. CARE offers support all the way up until your senior year. So they do a really great job of that, and I still work with them. After your first year, you can be a mentor for CARE and help the first year students who are moving in. So it's really good as far as that helping like retention in the program, helping the students continue to come in and continue to be supported as they come into Champlain. And CARE honestly was huge for me. CARE's pre-orientation lets you move in about 3, 4, 5 days early. You meet all the other students in CARE, and the CARE pre-orientation program was probably had a bigger impact on me than orientation itself, just because all of those kids that I met in CARE were the people I still hang out with to this day. So it's really great, especially if you are a first generation college student, or you're from California or Oklahoma or far away from Vermont. and you feel like you might need a little bit of time to get adjusted to Vermont, um, or you're not really familiar with the college scene, CARE does a really great job of getting you kind of used to it and warming you up to the idea. And you meet a lot of really great people who are going to support you through that. Um, and the second question was
About psychology. What does that ropes
psychology.
course look like? Why did they do it?
Okay, yeah. So the psychology, the psychology ropes course is just a really great way for the psych majors at Champlain to kind of join, um, to kind of come together, meet each other. So it's kind of like a little icebreaker type deal. We all hop on a bus and go over to the ropes course, and a lot of it was it's kind of just about getting out of your shell. It's a lot of teamwork stuff. So like a lot of the courses were depending on two people working together, which is kind of tough to do when you don't really know any of these people. But it's really cool. You meet a lot of cool people. The head of the psychology department actually brought his two huskies, which was great. I love them so much. So that was a really fun time. But it was really kind of like crash course in no one actually crashed on anything, but crash course and meeting people and kind of getting out of your shell right away. Like the first time you're meeting people, you're not usually jumping off of like trees, but you are, if you're a psychology major at Champlain, if you choose to. You don't have to jump off of high trees strapped into a harness, but you definitely can. It's just a really great way to just kind of get used to the people in the major. It's nothing really too intensive outside of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anthony. We'll move on to Bernie and talk a little bit about your orientation experience, Bernie. Any of your orientation experiences if you want.
All right, well, I guess coming in as an incoming student, I remember orientation just being the most exciting time for me. I was, thrilled out of my seat, just like in the car on the way to Champlain for the first time, knowing that that would be it, and I would be, going there and staying there. That was crazy to me. I remember I was just so anxious for it, and orientation really was exactly what I needed. I got to meet my roommates, and then we jumped into these programs that I personally just thought were so much fun and gave me everything I needed to know. I guess it's been a lot of fun to kind of relive that every year as an orientation leader and get to, help people as they helped me when I came as an incoming student. And then those memories, there's no replacing them. That first day, you're wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I don't know, I remember I remember playing these games, these name games that would go on to stick, and they were things that we'd continue to talk about. We talk about to this day. Actually, at the senior dinner, I ran into someone I used to live with, and the memories just came flooding back, and they all came from this weekend. So I don't know. I guess it's just been a lot of fun to kind of do that every year, and get to help new students as they had a lot of questions, and I don't know, keep doing it.
Thank you, Bernie. That was great. And Mary, tell us a little bit about your orientation experience.
Gladly. Well, as I mentioned before, coming up to college, I was equal parts scared and excited. So orientation was just irreplaceable experience for me. And like Anthony mentioned, the boat cruise at the end out on Lake Champlain was definitely one of my favorites. Like at the end of a couple days of kind of getting through learning about the college experience, meeting new people, meeting your roommate for the first time, maybe, if that's how things played out, and then just being able to relax and play games and enjoy music on this boat on the gorgeous lake, it's kind of like the ultimate cool down. And I was definitely pretty scared coming in, but the orientation team is and has always been really high energy and just really friendly, fantastic folks. And it was just a huge comfort to be able to come in and kind of have that realization that, like, it's definitely not as scary as it seems. And coming out of high school, like, I had some negative memories associated with it, and then every, like, terrible cliche about it being a fresh start and a new beginning, like, they're all actually really true. So yeah, orientation was fantastic. I finally felt, after I got over the initial panic, like I was coming home. And then being able to be on that team in later years, even though I was, like, kind of on the edge about it, I was like, I'm kind of introverted. Are you sure, like, this is something I should be trying out? Life-changing. Completely life-changing. It's how I got involved in student life, student activities, and leadership. And I've just met some of the greatest people ever working on that team. So orientation has been really just only positive memories associated with it, for sure.
I'm over here cheering up as Mary's explaining, because I feel the exact same way. Orientation was such an amazing experience for everything for the past 3 years that I've been a part of orientation, even partaking in orientation. It's just been a great experience. And I should have gone first because Bernie took my memory that I wanted to share about how the adjective name game is probably one of the cheesiest games you'll ever play, but it's the best game because you remember that. You remember people's names, you get involved in the community, and you build that community, you build that family. To this day, I still have my South House family. Like, we get together and have dinner like once a month and hang out, and I owe it all to the orientation, because without that, we might have not gotten close. And our orientation leaders were just so caring and so excited. I still remember Jeremy and Steve, and they were just so excited, and they just loved Champlain so much, and they radiated that through us as well. And we felt comfortable in the community coming in. I remember my first weekend there, I was like, I'm not going to have any friends. No one's going to like me. Everyone's already making friends, and I still don't have any friends. And then the girls in the quad next to me inviting me to come hang out with them. And from there, I just had lunch with them 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. And it's just amazing, the relationships you'll build here at Champlain. They last forever. And as senior year comes up, I'm a little sad, and I hope I stay in touch with everyone, because Champlain is just such a great community, and I want to be a part of it for the rest of my life. But on to a lighter note here. What's one thing that you wish you knew to bring to your residence hall? And we'll start with Anthony. Go ahead and tell us what you wish you brought to your residence hall.
All right. Well, what do I wish that I brought to my residence hall? I lived on tile, because I was on the ground floor of McDonald's, which can get pretty cold. So one thing that I wish I brought, I did end up getting it, but one thing that I did wish I brought was a little floor mat, because rolling out of bed for an 8 a.m. class and stepping on cold tile in the morning really wakes you up, but not really how you want to be woken up. So probably just some stuff like that. It's weird because in some situations you really don't know what you're gonna need to bring until you're actually there. But if I can, like, kind of shift the question a little bit, at least for me, it's less of what I want to bring and more of, or what I wish I brought and, like, what I wish I knew coming in. One thing that, like, I want to make sure you all know is that, like, it's okay if you don't know how to do something. Like, especially now, like, as an RA, one thing I always try to tell my residents, and, like, stress even, like, as a first year student here, is it's okay to admit that you don't know how to do something. Like, you're on your own in college, you might not have had that experience before. If you don't know how to do laundry by yourself, that's fine. Like, if you ask your RA, they can help you. Like, it's okay if you don't know how to do laundry. It's okay if you don't know how to not burn popcorn in the microwave. It's okay if you don't know how to do these things. A lot of people are going through the exact same situation. So definitely, if you are lost and need help, just feel free to ask. Like, definitely ask your RA if you need anything, because struggling or learning how to do laundry from your RA or learning how to use a microwave properly from your RA are both better than, one, not having any clothes to wear, and two, setting off a fire alarm at 4 in the morning because you wanted some popcorn. So don't be scared to ask a question. Don't feel stupid if you don't know how to do something that's basic, because you're on your own for the first time and that might be new. But that's all I have for that.
Thanks, Anthony. That was great. We'll move on to Bernie. What's something you wish you did bring to your residence hall? What's something you wish you didn't bring to your residence hall? And also, if you want to wrap up with Anthony, what he was saying, what's something you wish you knew before you attended Champlain? So 3 big questions for you, Bernie.
All right, try to answer all of them. So one thing I wish I brought is a fan, a personal fan for my desk. I did not bring one. A lot of people think Vermont, it's cold. You won't need a fan. It's going to be cold most of the year. It's September when you get in here. It's hot. Okay, it's going to be hot when you come in here in August, and especially if you're on an upper floor. I wasn't, but it was still pretty hot in my residence hall, and that was a big mistake. Bring a fan. Do yourself a favor. I brought a lot of clothes. I don't know, I wouldn't say like I overpacked clothes. No, I overpacked clothes, all right? So it got really funny because I ended up getting so many shirts and basically swag from the college, and I guess it was good for when I didn't do laundry, which I almost never did because it's one of those things you keep putting off. Even though I lived right next to the laundry room where I met Mary, but that's fine. Everything's fine. So if I could only pick one thing that I wish I knew at the beginning that I know now, it would be to really try to get off to a good start, with everything, particularly with your coursework and a lot of how you do throughout a semester, with your grades, with your campus life, really begins at the start of college, at this beginning stage. You really set the pace when you get there and start making habits for yourself, and find a place that's yours on campus when you want to be alone, when you want to go and find people. Give yourself that kind of space, and surround yourself with the right people. So I guess it's to go to college with some goals, some concrete goals, and bring a fan.
Thank you, Bernie. That was great. I'll pass it off to you, Mary. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, so in terms of things I shouldn't have brought to college, mine is somewhat similar to Bernie's. I brought a bunch of formal high-heeled shoes and stuff like that because I was like, what if there's an important thing, or I don't know, like a dinner or something? And I probably used one pair of them once because it gets icy and cold and you don't want to be in heels and you're walking around on campus and downtown. If you think you're going to have to do anything formal, just bring a pair of flats, do yourself a favor. So that was probably kind of a mistake. And in terms of things I should have brought, this is probably going to seem really obvious to some people, and they would be like, why wouldn't you bring this? But an Ethernet cable. The Wi-Fi is decent, but sometimes you just want to make sure that your internet is really solid. And I had kind of a finicky little laptop as well when I was first starting out in college, so Ethernet cable, invest in it, and it will really just bring back good things to you tenfold. And really, in terms of things I wish I knew coming into college, there's really 2 that are sticking in the forefront of my mind. Firstly, just being that know that a lot of people are just as scared as you are, even if they seem really cool and confident. That's because they're trying really hard to impress you. And it's okay to be a little bit freaked out and, like, you know, take your time figuring out, like, how things work. Don't be embarrassed to ask questions. And I would say the other biggest thing is try not to pass up on any opportunities, because college goes by so crazy fast. It's a blink of an eye and it's over. And there's just a lot of things going on campus all the time. It's good to get in the habit of trying to push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit now and again. And, like, you know, obviously stay safe, don't push yourself too hard, but it's really one of the best times of your life to try new things and get in some new experiences. So I think that's the most important thing about college, is kind of putting yourself out there.
Awesome. Thank you, Mary. And I'll answer that myself. For things that I wish I had brought and things I wish I invested in right away are a warm jacket and a solid pair of boots, because those are two things you need when you're up here in Vermont. You don't need your heels or your flats. You need a solid pair of boots. It's probably one of the most important things coming to school in Vermont. I went out the first winter, bought myself some LL Bean boots and a nice heavy Columbia jacket, and I was like, that is what I need right now. Sorry, Mom, for the bill coming your way, but I needed them. And one thing I'd say you could leave behind is, I know all of the fun college-y stuff that you get for graduation is also exciting, but a lot of the time it's not super practical, like those fun little decorations. And I know I have an entire tub of decorations I got for myself that I never put up. So if you're really super artsy and can decorate, do it. But for me, I know I had them and I was like, okay, these are going to sit in a box underneath my bed now, because our wall space is limited, and my roommate also has things she brought to share with our room. So I think that's a little bit of my word of advice there. As for things that I wish I knew before coming to college, kind of goes along with Mary's about seizing all of the opportunities afforded to you. I know that when I came into college, I was like, no way am I ever going to be a resident assistant. No way am I ever going to do orientation. That doesn't sound like me. But then I was recommended to become an RA, and I was like, you know, maybe that's not such a bad thing. So I applied and I got the job, and I was so nervous because I was coming in second semester and all these kids already knew their RA, and I was going to be the new kid on the block, and they were going to be mean to me and pick on me. And I was so nervous, probably more nervous than my first day of school. But I was able to work through it, and they're still some of my best friends, and they were such a good little crew. And I don't know what I was nervous about, because it was probably one of the best opportunities I've had on campus. And as Champlain's motto is, let us dare to be great. Don't ever give up on anything just because you're afraid. Don't be afraid to dare. Just be yourself and try all of the things you can, because college only lasts 4 years and you have to seize those opportunities when you're given them. So you guys did an awesome job. Any last words of advice for our future Champlain students, because we know we're all going to attend? So why don't we start a little backwards to give a little flair. Mary, do you want to go ahead and have one last comment for our future Champlain students?
Sure. Let's see. Well, one, for anyone who's coming to Accepted Students Day, see you at Accepted Students Day. It's going to be great. You should be there. Also, yeah, this is, you know, everything's gonna change. I mean, some things are not gonna change, but a lot of things are gonna change. And most of them are gonna change in good ways. So just hang in there. Try to just be confident as much as you can. It's okay to be scared, but welcome to Champlain. We are so excited to have you.
Thanks, Mary. Bernie, last words?
Yeah, welcome to Champlain. I won't be here in August to meet you, but you're gonna have a great time. They say that college is the best 4 years of your life, and I'd like to think that's true. I don't know yet. I haven't lived the rest of my life, obviously, but so far it's living up to that, and I have all these memories. And I know that you guys are also going to go out there and carve your own story. So basically, college is about finding yourself. It's about coming into your own and reinventing yourself in however way you want to. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of work, but I know that it's going to be something that you're going to have nothing but great things to say about Champlain.
Perfect, Bernie. And Anthony, any last words for us?
I don't know if I really have too much else to say that hasn't already been said. I mean, definitely, I think the most important thing to remember coming in is, especially, I didn't personally realize this when I came in because I went to a boarding school, but people don't, you're not alone in any situation that you feel like you're in. Like, you might be nervous, you might be scared, you might be really excited, you might be not nervous at all. There's going to be people, in your res hall, in your graduating class, in your major, in your division, who feel the same way, who are also nervous, who are also scared, who also can't wait to meet new people. One thing that, so just remember that you're not alone in that, and also, after orientation, don't feel like that's the end all be all to meeting new people and making friends, because Champlain has a kind of community where it's really easy to just meet new people, and you find yourself meeting friends of friends of friends just through having one friend. So definitely don't think of orientation as the end of meeting new people. Think of it as just the beginning of kind of going out on your own and not needing cheesy icebreakers to meet to make your friends now. Which there's icebreakers are cool. That's my last word. Icebreakers.
All right, thank you so much. My last word of advice is just don't be afraid to be yourself, because Champlain is such an awesome, welcoming community that everyone's just accepted, and being yourself is just probably the best thing coming to college. I know some people are like, oh, I'm going to be a new me going to college, but just be yourself because you're the best you, and that's something I truly believe. So with that last word of advice, we're wrapping up here. We're closing in on 8:30, so I'd like to thank all of my awesome panelists. You did a great job. If you have, thank you, Anthony, a little round of applause. If you have any questions after watching this, you can reach us at admissions@champlain.edu or touch base with us over the Facebook page. We'll be on that. Also, if you want to watch this again and again and again, it is up on our blog, so our admissions blog at champlain.edu. If you want to see Anthony's beautiful face, you can log in and watch that. So thank you so much for meeting with us today, and it's been great. I hope we hear from you and hope we see you this Saturday at Admitted Students Day. Thank you.